Since 1987, the Canadian organisation Code Incorporated has been supporting democratic electoral processes by providing the materials needed to hold an election. Since then, more than 20 years have passed. With their profound knowledge of all things elections, Code Incorporated began developing a biometric voter registration solution that would register voters and eliminate duplicates from the registry. In 2010 and 2011, Code Inc. successfully completed 2 BVR projects in Kenya and the Gambia. The Gambia project was in preparation for their presidential elections. The registration process was conducted in over 200 sites across the country in May and June 2011, at the height of the dry season where dusty and windy conditions presented major challenges. The Gambian project followed the successful registration of 1.5 million Kenyans in 1,600 registration sites. Participants were able to use their new identification cards for the first time to vote in the Kenyan referendum. Like the Gambia, Kenya represented itself with challenging climate conditions and unusual registration sites where sometimes power outlets weren't available to charge the gear. Solar panels and generators were used when electricity wasn't available. For both Kenya and the Gambia, fingerprints, specifically the thumb, and facial biometrics were chosen for voter identification. Each country also chose to do multi-biometric matching, in which the biometrics of each individual are compared to ensure it is a clean voter list with no duplicate registrations. The strong relationship developed between Code Inc. personnel stationed within the respected countries and the local IT teams were key to the success of both projects and resulted with the IT teams ultimately acquiring the tools and skills to manage and maintain the new voter registry independently. Mr. Gordon Sinclair, the VP of Business Development and Sales at Code Inc., is now looking to bring this success story to some of the Sahelian countries of Africa, where attempts at electronic biometric voter registration have been less than satisfactory so far. Electoral management bodies must have an electoral list that is both flawless and void of duplicates. Code Inc. has thus far got it right and believe they have the methods available to duplicate the process in a way that will stand up to the scrutiny of critics and opposition parties alike. The capture of biometric voter information is now a mainstay of African electoral commissions, and Code Inc. is a pioneer in the development of electronic voter registration systems. The company is one of the leading and original companies whose core and only vocation is the supply and delivery of election systems. Code Inc. supplies to electoral commissions worldwide and has been doing so for more than 2 decades. The next step for Code Inc. is the registration of voters in Fiji in preparation for their 2014 elections. Code Inc.'s successes aren't just one-fold. Code Inc. is wholly owned by the non-profit Code. Code supports literacy and education globally, but particularly in African countries where Code Inc. does most of their work. Code Inc. donates a portion of their profits yearly to Code to fund their literacy programs. The connections between a country's literacy rates and its ability to advance the democratic process are palpable. Countries don't achieve broad democracy on the backs of an illiterate population. And Code and Code Inc. recognize that.